Good evening, everyone. My name is Adam Girts. I'm a 1L at Washington Lee Law School, but before I was a 1L, I was a gigging musician and middle school orchestra teacher. So those two tunes that you just heard, that was Father Kelly's, and you're going to find I'll forget the names a lot. Oh, that's a very famous one. I'm going to kick myself when I remember it later. But so first off, thank you so much for coming. However, this is not any sort of formal performance. Go get a drink. Got mine right here. Go make dinner, relax, get in your jammies, do whatever you want to get comfortable. There's no formality to this. Second, this is fiddling. It's not classical music. So there's going to be some differences. As I'm sure you just heard, it's going to be scratchy. It's going to be less clean, but I'm going to do my best to be as authentic and faithful as I can be. So welcome to my SSA. Hope you get comfortable. Hope you get some nice cool beverage, and please enjoy this evening. Yeah, so originally when I set out, this was going to be a contra-themed program. However, as I was practicing, I found I was mostly getting Irish music ready, so we're just going to lean into that. First things first, though, this is going to be an infoformance, not a performance, not an informational session, an infoformance. So there'll be a bit of talking, a bit of playing. Hopefully I don't bore you too much, and hopefully you learn something. So moving on, Ireland as a country musically has 4 distinct areas. We're going to start in the southwest of Ireland, a place called Slieve Lucra. Forgive my Irish, it's not that great. But Slieve Lucra is a very mountainous, very isolated part of the country. As a result, you get a lot of very distinct musical cultures there. It was traditionally known as a place where bandits and musicians went to hide. I wonder what that says about musicians. I wonder what that says about me. Anyways, the Slieve Lucra area, also the biggest city in there is Cork, which was a very important stop on the trade, the triangular trade. It was the last place that ships could stop to provision on the northern part of the triangle trade. As a result, you get a lot of European, specifically Central Eastern European influences in the music. While the rest of the country, most of the repertoire is reels and jigs, and occasionally some slip jigs, and a few other specialty types, but mostly reels and jigs. In Slieve Lucra, the predominant tune type is slides and polkas. Polkas being, an Eastern European thing. So it's a fascinating blending of cultures. Although another part of the culture there, I've been thinking a lot about colonialism recently. And Ireland was England's first colony. Oliver Cromwell came over on the ship after the end of the English Civil War, landed in Dublin, and burned, pillaged, and raped his way across the Isle until he got to Slieve Lucra, and he's like, well, no one can live here, so we're good. And as a result, most of the native Irish people got shoved into the southwest corner of Ireland. And so that's where you have a lot of the traditional Irish culture. It's where some of the last communities of people who spoke Irish lived. Irish was a dying language until recently. Even today, not too many people speak it anymore. So yeah, it's culturally unique, but also cosmopolitan, and it's really interesting. But anyways, this next set is going to be 3 tunes. I learned them from Matt Craic, who's a very prominent Slieve Lucra fiddler. He teaches at Cork Polytechnical, Cork Institute of Technology. There we go. So these are 3 polkas. I don't know the name of each one. Some of the more astute among you might have noticed that there's a bit of a back rhythm there. I know it has a name, but I can't remember the exact name. But it's a sort of a thing going on, which is very different how polkas are played by the rest of the country. Schliflukra backslide, I think some people call it, the Schliflukra rhythm. You'll have to excuse me because traditionally these tunes are played 3 times through, but usually I have someone who's more responsible reminding me of like, hey, this is the 3rd time. Sometimes I tend to get a little lost and lose count, so I'm sorry if I go a little over. But yeah, traditionally you have 3 tunes, 3 times each. So the next set of tunes is another set of polkas, but just to show you the contrast, right? You have that back rhythm. That's how you play most traditional polkas in Szliflukra. The next set I affectionately call the Irish lawyer set. So you have something, John Ryan's and Sullivan's, the Irish law firm set. Just imagine it. Put in any sort of vaguely Irish sounding name. Let's go with Morrison's, but that's technically different too. Morrison's, John Ryan, Sullivan, barristers at law. Like you can just see the law firm nameplate right there. But putting that aside, so moving out of the southwest, we go further north, and we get to County Clare and County Galway. While the two have very distinct styles, I'm going to group them sort of together so we can just have around 4 number. Although if we start getting too granular, this will be too long. So we're going to put County Clare and County Galway together. Although sidebar, don't do that outside this context. Clare and Galway look across to each other from Galway Bay, and there's a very, very, very strong rivalry between the two. If you ever go to hurling, if you ever get to go into Ireland in the summer, strongly suggest if you get the chance, go to a hurling match after the COVID pandemic is over, because it's a really fun sport. But putting aside, it's always great when County Clare and County Galway face each other, because like they're right next to each other, and so they when they get to the hurling pitch, there's like this really fierce rivalry, and it's great fun. But putting that aside, we'll just call it the Clare style. The Clare style is, instead of having that, that backbeat, that rhythm, the different tunes, it has a lot of the same tunes, but I think the best way to describe it is reflective. They really lean into the beauty of the melody. I think a good way to describe it is the beauty and simplicity. This is the style I think I'm least familiar with. And so for anyone who actually knows Clare style, I'm so sorry. This is going to be really bad, but I'm going to do my best to approximate 3 jigs in Clare style. So, leaving County Clare and continuing north, you get to a place called Donegal. While it still has a similar repertoire, it shares a lot with the other three styles. Schlievlooker's out on their own, Oliver Cromwell and all that. So, it still has a lot of the same tunes, but it's played very differently. It's a lot faster. A lot faster. And they have a different style of ornamentation that I never quite grasped. But sidebar moment. This is the info performance part, or part of it, one of them. So ornaments are a very important way of expressing yourself stylistically in Irish music. So you have a tune, and I'm going to do my best to play it straight without any ornaments, but we'll see if that actually happens. This is the cash. It's a meme in the community, like, okay, got to get the cash jig out of the way. Everyone knows it. So if you learn it, you'll have one tune that you'll be able to play with basically anyone. So I tried to wince or make some sort of facial expression when I caught myself adding ornaments in. It's actually, once you become ingrained in this, it's actually really hard not to do them, which was something I struggled a lot when I was learning classical music. But okay, so let's add in a little bit of ornamentation. So Irish music, like you can hear the difference, right? There's the one, and then there's the one with the ornaments. The notes are still there, but you're adding your own personal stamp to it. There are a few basic ornaments. So we have the they're the same ornaments in many different styles, but they have different names. I call it the hammer-on, which is actually borrowed from old time. I forget what the actual Irish name is, but it's basically, let's see if you can see the fingers. There we go. Which leads, so the hammer-on is just, but that leads into the second one, the roll, which you would have heard in the last set of jigs from Claire. Yeah, so we got the cut. That's what it is, the cut. Cuts. We got the cut, we got the roll. There's also the triplets. No. So the original notes being, add in the triplets, put a cut on top. You see how you start adding these together. It's like for the law students here, it's like the fees and the estates. You add in this estate and this estate and this estate, and that's how you get where you want. You add a cut here, a slide here, right? A slide. A mordant is another form of the roll. Yeah, and then you start adding in Schlievlooker. We had the ornaments of the backbeat. You start adding emphasis in different places. Start adding more and more ornaments, and eventually you start to get your own thing that sounds like Irish music, but it's uniquely your own. One other ornament that I want to talk about is bowing, which for the classical musicians out there might drive you insane. In Irish music, there is no set bowing. Everything is learned orally. It's an oral tradition. And as a result, the bowing becomes a tool you can use. Just listen to this, okay? So, same tune, the cash. Did you hear the difference between the two times I played the A? Listen again, I'll make it more pronounced. Versus. It doesn't, the bowings in the second one are more smooth. They sort of smooth it out. They make it, instead of going dum da dee dum to da. So you have all these different building blocks and you put them together, and that's how you make different styles out of the same tune. And that's how you have your own personal stamp. So for those of you who aren't as interested in this as I am, let's move on to more tunes, shall we? So Donegal is really fast, and they're known for their very fast reels. So here's a set of fast reels. So the first tune there, well, what was the first tune? It was the Banshee. That's a classic Irish tune. The second tune was the High Drive, which is actually a Scottish tune. In Donegal, don't tell them, they'll never admit it. But there's actually some crossover tunes between Scotland and Ireland. One of the things that makes Scottish tunes unique is that traditionally, Scottish tunes only had 9 notes. The A scale, plus a low G. The reason being, the Scottish bagpipes, the big Highland pipes that you see in the parades, only had those 9 notes. So it fits in well with Donegal music, and so sometimes it pops up. But anyways, moving on. So the fourth style, I call it the East Coast style. Some people don't even recognize it really as a style. Most people separate out the Clare Galway thing. But I like to recognize it because it also includes what I call the Pan-Celtic style, which is the Atlantic crossover between the two. Oftentimes, people, because, Dublin, people go to Dublin, the style that crosses over between the two is the East Coast style. Now, this is a really broad generalization to call this one style, but, putting that aside, the East Coast style and the Pan-Celtic style, as I call them, was the thing that I was actually interested in studying as an ethnomusicologist. Specifically, how does this cross-cultural transfer, cross-transatlantic transfer of this music come from? Because believe it or not, actually, again, thinking about colonialism, the British made a very concerted effort to eliminate everything Irish from Ireland. And that not only included the language, but that also included the music. It was only during the famine, because of the famine, when people left, millions and millions of lives crossed. I remember every time I go there, I'm riding on the train and I look, and there's another mass grave from famine victims. But because of the famine, you had a whole bunch of Irish immigrants coming to America, of course, and with them, they brought Irish music. In fact, the very first repository of Irish tunes that we have, Irish Tune Book, comes out of Chicago. A fire chief of the fire department, I can't remember his name. I'm going to kick myself when I remember it later. But yeah, Boston's well known for it. New York has a great Irish scene for music. And in the 60s, after independence and after the struggles, people thought, we should try and get some of this back. And so in America, a lot of this stuff had been going on, but it wasn't exactly the same. So it got transplanted back over. There were some people who were still playing the traditional, if you want to call it, real Irish style. But a lot of it that we know today is transplanted from the Americas and from what's it called? In Canada, the northern, not Cape Breton, because Cape Breton is Scottish, but St. John's Bay. Nova Scotia? No, it's in Nova Scotia. Newfoundland. There we go. Newfoundland. Anyways, putting that all aside, this is a set of jigs, Jim Ward's Out in the Ocean, and The Lark in the Morning, which I'm going to play in a more Pan-Celtic style. So, jigs, right? The that last tune. Shout out to Professor Hasbrook. In our criminal law class, he keeps asking us, what's your jam for the MPC? And for me, that last tune is my jam. That's my MPC jam. So, yeah. So moving on, that ends the incredibly informative parts of tonight, and from here on out, it's just going to be playing and me rambling. So, yeah, hope you enjoy. Another thing is that ends the planned part. So anything that comes after here is going to be basically whatever. I do want to hit on one thing that I think is really important these days. That last tune, Lark in the Morning, besides, being my MPC jam, it's given me a lot of hope and sustaining energy to get through this pandemic. As I'm playing here for you guys tonight, this is really weird for me. I'm not used to playing for no one, in front of no one, looking into a screen. This microphone's normal, having this set up like this with my sound system, but the pandemic has taken so much from so many people. And even for those of us who haven't lost a loved one, it's still taken things from us. I think it's really important for us to remember not only those that we have lost, but also to remember what has been given up. To imagine the things that we're going to do when the pandemic is over, and continue to live our lives to the fullest of our extent, to honor those who can't. And one of the things that's really been pulling me through this pandemic has been thinking about all of the people I play with and thinking about playing with it again. The ones who are still alive, that is. But moving on from that less than happy note, this next set is 3 tunes that I picked up in Cork. There's a famous rivalry in Cork. There's the Shinee, and then there's the Corner House. They're literally right next to each other. Like, there's a tiny alley between them. Shinee is a lot smaller. They have closed sessions. The Corner House is bigger in the inside, and they have more open sessions, but the Shinee's sessions are more pre-planned, whereas the Corner House sessions, you get some of the heavy hitters in Ireland playing there. And this is a set that I picked up from there, back when you could go to pubs, and they call it the Cooley's set. It's let's see here, Cooley's Jig, Kerfunkin, which is a great tune. You'll hear that one, and Sport, which is a really difficult tune, and I will do my best not to mess it up. So here's Cooley's. Sorry, the first one's Cooley's, not Cooley's. Cooley's is a real. Cooley's is a jig. Bah. yeah, so notoriously hard to play last tune. Yeah, it's a fun set though. Um, just one thing I wanna really underscore though is that part of the fun with playing these tunes for me personally is the incredible social aspect of it and the memories you get from it. So when I hear that tune, when I play that tune, I have this impression of oh, second, literally ranked number 2 by competition, Piper sitting there, 3 fiddlers around him, all greats, and just everyone just with these giant grins on their faces as we're playing for Kerfunken. It's it's really something special. I don't think, well, obviously it's music. I can't put words to it. Moving along. Next we'll play a set of Gone On 'Em. So those 2 tunes, you had a slide and you had a hornpipe. They didn't really fit too well together, but I realized that I never actually played those in the Schlieffen. Those are the other 2 major types of tunes in Schlieffen. So moving along, while we're hitting different types of tunes, there's one type of tune that I don't know very many tunes from, but is actually fairly common and fairly popular. Slip jigs. Slip jigs are interesting. I'm not quite sure where they came from, but if you want to play a tune with someone, we have the kesh, which everyone knows, and the slip jig that everyone knows, and for most people, myself included, the only one they know is the butterfly. So this is the butterfly. slip jigs. They can be quite fun. I wish I knew more of them. So, moving on. Next one's some jigs. This is Morrison's, and we'll see what comes after it. Interesting thing, you might have been hearing me going, huh, in a session. So the normal place to play Irish tunes is not in lockdown by yourself staring into a computer. The normal place to play tunes is in a pub. I mean, what could be better? You know, a Friday night gathering with friends at the pub. And the best part is you often get free booze because you're providing the entertainment. It's a win-win. Free booze, playing with friends, getting to play music, meeting people, getting drunk. I mean, what more could you ask for in life, right? So, where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. The huh is a way to communicate in a loud bar that you're moving on to the next tune. Sometimes you plan ahead. Smart people in life plan ahead. This guy does not plan ahead. When I start, I'm like, I mean, I usually don't even remember the names of the tunes. So I'll just be like, it's in the key of G. So the guitar or the rhythm or whomever needs that is like, got you. And honestly, best musicians at a session are always the guitarists, because they can just, when you get a good Irish guitar player, it's like magic, because they pick up on what you're doing. They match you, and you match them. You get this back and forth going, and it's beautiful. One of the top things I look forward to after the pandemic ends, besides, people dying, wear your mask, stay inside, follow the school's procedures. So, yes, sessions. And this is going to be a very normal thing for me, where I'm pulling tunes out of my butt as I'm going along. So starting with Morrison's. Yeah, so that last set, let's see here. Oh God, what was it? So Morrison's out Cliffs of Moher and Out in the Ocean Briefly, and then Haste to the Wedding. So it's a cardinal rule in Irish sessions that you don't repeat the same tune in the session. I had played Out on the Ocean earlier tonight, and I forgot about that. So one thing that you'll see sometimes that happens, I like to do it personally because I don't like to leave people out when I'm playing. If I play a tune that no one knows, unless I had planned for like a little show-off moment, I'll very quickly transition through it. I'll play it once out of respect for the tune, and so people who want to hear it once can hear it, and then I'll move through it to a tune that I know people will know because, you know, you don't want to leave people out. So moving right along, our time's about to come to an end. I want to close with a waltz called Inishir, but just one thing before that is there's another instrument that may or may not have made an appearance, a few instruments that may or may not have made an appearance. Depends on my ability to line them up, you know, with the virtual performance type thing. But I'm going to be doing the main recording on the next set on what are called the Idlin pipes. The Idlin pipes are a response to British colonialism. The British band, so the Irish had their own form of bagpipes called the Irish war pipes. They were big and loud like the Scottish Highland pipes. And then the British banned them because, you know, got to get rid of all things Irish, got to make them British, you know. The Irish unrest, they thought the best way to deal with the Irish unrest is to blend the Irish culture into the English culture. And when I say blend, it's really eliminate the Irish culture and make them all English. So they banned bagpipes because that's very obviously, you know, Scottish, Irish, the rebellious ones, even though the English had their own form of bagpipes at one point. In response, they made what were called the Union pipes, which were small. They sat on your lap. They were modeled after the Scottish small pipes, and they were quiet enough where you could play them inside and they wouldn't be heard outside. Eventually, the Union pipes, you know, Union being a freedom fighter term, Union like O'Connell. For those who have been in Ireland, in Dublin, O'Connell Street, named after the great patriot O'Connell. And so the Union pipes, the symbol of resistance, eventually became the Idlin pipes, which Idlin is Irish for elbow. And so this last tune is called Inishir, and I'll be playing the main tune on my practice set for the Idlin pipes. Hopefully one day I'll be able to afford a real set, but for now, here we are in the practice. Inishir, promise is the last thing I say. Inishir is an island off the coast of West Coast. If you're sitting at the Cliffs of Moher, which was one of the previous tunes, but Cliffs of Moher, it's a pretty popular tourist attraction. You can see the three islands, Inisheer being the smallest off in the distance. There's ferries there. It's a beautiful place, and the beauty is reflected in the tune. So Inisheer is a waltz, and to close off tonight, let's play a waltz. Thank you all so much for coming out. I hope that you learned something. I hope I didn't talk too much for your liking, and just thank you for spending this evening with me. I hope you all stay safe, and this is Inisheer. So these are the Idlin pipes. This is a practice set. A full set has 3 drones and regulators that you can play chords with, all on one instrument. It's really amazing, but it's a lot of work to learn. It's kind of counterintuitive. So these are the Idlin pipes. You've got the bellows here that blow up a bagpipes, and then you've got the chanter. So I'll get this all set up, and let's go.